Okay, hello, hello. What's going on? Let's see. We're going to talk today about mindset for success. And I am going live today with my friend Erin Birch. And now I have to figure out which button I can do to set this up. Well, here we go. I hope. I think we're attempting to add. If you're on here, it's good to see you. And if you don't know me, my name is Brooke Oakes, and my friend Erin will be on here shortly. Hopefully this works. Yay!
Woohoo!
That's exciting.
It's always exciting when you actually manage to go, do a live on Facebook. You never know how it's going to go.
Right?
There we go.
Well, I'm hoping I keep my internet. It's kind of getting spotty with the storm. So
Oh, you have a storm?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like a hurricane kind of storm?
No, not yet, luckily. But it's a pretty big storm rolling through. So
Interesting. I love storms.
Yeah.
If you're safe.
Well, I've never been in a hurricane before, and since I just moved to Georgia, eventually I'm gonna get one.
Yeah, good point. Good point. Me neither. Yeah.
So I am so glad to have you on here. I'm hoping I can stay on here. So I wanted to talk to you a little bit about programming your mind for success. You study a lot of psychology, and I'm always loving a lot of the different tips and things that you share. And it seems to have changed your life. What are some of your favorite strategies that you use?
So strategies, yeah, exactly. Or like mindset hacks. These are strategies that I've learned and some I've just kind of come up on my own. Maybe other people do them too, but it's a way of dealing with your own thoughts that allow you to change your perspective. That's everything. So that you're able to take action in your life and not be so bogged down by the limiting beliefs that hold us back. Like mindset is everything. Your mindset will allow you to be super successful, or it'll take you out of the game. It's all to do with the thoughts, right? How your perspective, your perceptions of things. So I've created these little hacks that I do whenever, I have a thought that's going to work against me, not for me. Then I know how to flip it. So for example, one of the best things I've learned is how we lie to ourselves. What we think of ourselves is really set by the age of 7, right? And the little stories we tell ourselves, like we're not smart, we're not pretty enough, we're not thin enough, we're not this, we're not that, we're not lovable, I'm not good enough. It all boils down to people's lack of their lack of belief in themselves, that they're good enough to do and have whatever they want. And that is imprinted into your subconscious mind before the age of 7. But the beautiful thing is, like the human brain is so easy to program, but the beautiful thing is it's so easy to deprogram it and put in a new program that works for you. So my belief I always had in myself was that I was stupid. I thought I had a very, very low IQ. I didn't think I was like a lower than average IQ is what I thought I had. So how do you go out and be courageous and do big things and take risks in life when you think you're dumb? It means you don't put yourself in situations where you're even having conversations. You're certainly not going to go up to the hot, sexy guy at the bar when you think you're stupid, because then you're afraid he's going to discover you're stupid and you're going to feel like crap about yourself.
Right.
How do you have the courage to go and start building your own business when you truly think, you're of a lower intelligence? So we all have these little stories that have been imprinted into your subconscious mind. It's about recognizing when it's a story you're telling yourself. So first thing you want to do is when something comes up, like, oh, I can't do that because I'm not smart enough, pretty enough, blah, 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 blah. You want to catch that thought. You want to become uber aware of your thoughts and ask yourself, is this true? Or is this just a story I tell myself every single day? And then you go, wait a minute, that's a story. It's not even true. So you call yourself out on it.
Right.
And you do that over and over and over again. And then one other strategy I want to share with you, because I used this yesterday. Whenever something happens in my life where it could start me spiraling downward, right? You've got your, this is actually David Hawkins who came up with this. It's people have revamped it, and I think his is like the pyramid of emotions, vibrations. Every emotion has a vibration, a frequency. So up at the top, so down below, there's guilt, shame, lack, hate, anger, all the negative emotions. And then in the middle, you've got neutrality. And then above that, you've got joy, love, abundance, gratitude. And the top one, I believe the top one is unconditional love.
Mm-hmm.
So the goal in life is to spend way more time above the neutrality line and not sink down into the lower vibrations. So what happens for a lot of people, for everybody, something happens in your life and it causes you to sink below that line of neutrality. So one of the little mindset hacks that I do for myself, so I don't sink there for long, is I look for the good in everything. Something crappy happens to you, ask yourself why you co-created it to happen, because you did it to yourself, right? We create our own reality. So I always ask myself, why did I create this to happen? What am I meant to get from it? What am I meant to learn from it? And I do this with everything. And I can take a really not so great situation and turn it into something great. So for example, yesterday, blew up my stand-up paddleboard for the first time ever. Went out on the lake with my friend Jen, who's been several times. So we went paddleboarding and it was fabulous. Absolutely loved it. So we get to the beach and I'm wearing these really crappy flip-flops, like the dollar kind that are like way too big and stretched out and just crappy, no grips.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So I had to go up this little bank holding my paddleboard in one arm, my paddle in the other. I had to go up this bank and to cross the railroad track. So I get up to the top, my foot slips out of my flip-flop and I fall forward on the railroad track on my shin. Like, bam! So I get myself up and I look down at my legs and it was nasty. I already had these 3 huge bruised welts coming up and I took a chunk out of my leg kind of thing, right? So it looked so brutal at the time. I'm like, what's going through my head is, shit, did I just break my leg? Did I just break my shin? It was that bad. At first, it looked like that. So I stood there and also becoming aware that I'm not going to let myself go into any kind of shock, right? So I start really kind of putting my mind power to use. And my girlfriend Jen was there too, so I wasn't on my own. So it was easier to deal with, right? So we deal with it. She carries my paddle back board to the car, her own, and I hobble to her vehicle with my paddle as a crutch. So she had a first aid kit. She had a thing that you snap and it turns into the cold pack. So I put that on my leg and it actually got like way better within like 5 minutes kind of thing. We just kind of dealt with the situation. So we're driving And she knows my brain works this way because we talk about this stuff all the time. And I'm going, so why do you think I created this? Why did I make this happen? And she co-created this to happen too, because she was there. We both created this event to happen. Why? Because we're meant to get something from it. We're meant to learn from the experience. I had the opportunity to show gratitude.
Mm-hmm.
I'm super grateful I didn't break my leg. And then what are we meant to learn from this? And as Jen was just saying, I almost didn't put my first aid kit back in the car. She'd just been camping. And she's like, I almost took my first aid kit out of the car. And she's like, do you have a first aid kit? I'm like, no, I don't. I truly think the lesson we were supposed to learn from this is, well, why don't you guys have a frickin' first aid kit?
You're supposed to always be prepared. Remember
Yeah, that's my lesson to learn. I'm not prepared for any kind of accidents that happen. And I do a lot of hiking and all of that on my own. And I have nothing. I'm totally not prepared. That was my lesson. And Jen got a lesson from it too. Because she's like, I almost didn't bring these freezer packs. So what's she going to do now? She's going to beef up her first aid kit. What am I going to do? Buy a beefy first aid kit.
Right.
Who knows? I could be out hiking with my son. I don't want to manifest this, but who knows? I could be hiking with my son 2 weeks from now. Somebody gets hurt. Now I'll be prepared.
You know, I hike a lot and I've never even thought of that. And hiking here in Georgia, like alligators come up on those trails. Like I sent a video to my parents. Like I was out hiking and these girls were up on this dock watching. And I was like, what are they watching? This alligator's just coming on up. I was like, oh my Lord, like alligators come up here and I'm up here because I hike in flip-flops, not gonna lie. Like I go out in flip-flops. I'm like, so if I had to run, like that would be so uncomfortable. And but it's never even occurred to me.
Yeah. So now when you go hiking, you probably won't go out in flip-flops.
No.
And maybe you'll take a gun. Right? So everything is a learning experience. And even if you didn't have a scary encounter with the alligator, you learned by watching those girls.
Yeah.
Right?
I never would have known if I hadn't walked over there.
Yeah.
Like they were just on the side of the trail.
Yeah. So you were involved. You co-created that with those girls for you to get something from it. So when you start doing this, it takes like everything that could be kind of crappy, you turn that into a learning experience and you get something good from it. This is how you start having mastery over your own thoughts, right? So instead of me going, oh, poor me, you know, now I'm injured. Oh, why me? Why me? This sucks. I turned it into a really good thing. Right? And who knows? Maybe it's healing faster because of this. Who knows? Right?
Well, the pictures were really pretty from that day.
Oh, it was nice. It was so nice. I loved it. But it's all about having mastery over your own thoughts. This is how you develop the mindset for success. When you have such good control over your thoughts that nothing takes you out of your game. Or if it does, which is normal, happens to me too, you know how to pull your mind back into the game. So I'm almost kind of always playing with my own mind, my own thoughts. I'm so uber aware of my own thoughts that I'm able to correct them when I don't like where it's going. Right. When I know it's not serving me, I can correct my thoughts.
So you really have to recognize what it is, because if you don't recognize it, there's no way that you can change anything. Yeah,
you want to analyze your thoughts. Like you have the thought. I will stop in, not every single thought, because you've got, you know, that would be a full-time job. Just analyze. You'd go nuts. But analyzing your thoughts, like I just thought this. Okay, is that serving me? Is it even true? So it's about becoming aware of your thoughts so that you're able to correct them and you get in the habit of changing your perspective, right? So with me falling on my shin, the perspective could have been, oh, poor me, this sucks, I don't deserve this, blah 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 blah, right? But instead I changed my perspective, like, this is great, this is a good thing, I've learned something valuable, I'm so super grateful I didn't break my leg. So you can take anything and learn and grow from it, because that is the reason we are here, is self-mastery, is to become enlightened. That's how you get to fourth and fifth dimension, by the way.
Right. It's pretty interesting to think about. And then like if you are, so like if you could run with that a little bit further, and the people who do like gratitude journals and actually focusing on something each day to help build that up, you know, you could take it like a step further almost, couldn't you?
Well, yeah, like the path to enlightenment is making sure you stay above that line of neutrality as much as you possibly can, being in the higher vibrational, energies, emotions, all that. It's all about feelings. Everything is about feelings. So if you're doing gratitude every day, it's pretty damn hard to be in the lower vibrations, angry. It's really hard to feel lack or like a victim if you're doing gratitude every day, because they're two emotions that conflict, right? So when you're doing gratitude, you start, being in that vibration of abundance and joy. If you can be great, feel gratitude for, getting hurt, that is powerful. That makes you really, really powerful. Controlling your own vibration. And the law of attraction is not just you putting out what you want. The law of attraction works by you knowing what you want, but acting as if you already have it. So if I want to heal my wound here, I want to have the thoughts of, it's already healed. It's healing. Already there. But then putting the elevated emotions behind it. I'm going to do this. I'm going to actually meditate on this later on, because I'm actually really surprised how fast my leg is healing. It's kind of a little freaky. And I'm seriously, as we're on here, beginning to wonder if I'm helping that process with my mind. Because a la Joe Dispenza, he teaches how to heal all, your cancer and psoriasis. And I met people at his events who have healed themselves of all kinds of things just with the power of the mind. And if your mind can make you sick, why can't it make you healthy?
Right.
Right. Yeah. Do you ever lay in bed and think of something, like, let's just say it's something somebody did to you, and you lay in bed and then you've got a stomach ache and you're all anxious and you're mad? That can create ulcers. If you're left living in those lower vibrations, it's gonna give you cancer.
Right.
And you're giving it to yourself. So if you live in the higher vibrations, you're not gonna maybe get the cancer, or you can heal it.
And you could even, on the flip side, use this if you were trying to build a home business and you're not seeing like the success that you want, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Because if you're not seeing the success, if you're not seeing success in your home business, it's going to be one of these things. Your mindset. You're allowing your mind to take you out, right? You're stuck in victim mode, or you're not taking enough action. Most people, like, they're not taking enough action. And why aren't they taking enough action? I don't believe people are lazy. They don't have enough time to build it. Bullshit. I know people who are making a six-figure. We work with a gal who, I think she works her business 4 to 6 hours a week because she's got 4 kids and she homeschools, and she does all her like volunteering at her church and the whole bit, like all this stuff going on. Probably a 7-figure income earner, working 4 to 6 hours a week because her mind is in the game.
That's powerful.
Right? So it's keeping your mind in the game, and taking enough action. But then there's also knowing what to do in your business every single day. Having that blueprint. You're going to do this, then you're going to do this, then you're going to do this. And you keep it simple, and you have like 5 things you need to do every day, and you just do them, and you get your mind in the game where you just do those activities. It's only a matter of time until you have success. Unfortunately, a lot of people, just don't know what to do either. So you want to be working with people who've got a blueprint for you that you just have to follow.
Right.
That's why we supply that with our team. There's the blueprint. You just simply have to follow it. And then if you have any questions and all that, you've got, everyone on the team to help you out.
Right. What is that phrase? The confused mind doesn't move forward.
Does nothing.
Mm-hmm.
A confused mind will do nothing. And you can keep your routine really, really simple. And they also say it's like, okay, so it's, what is it? 20% of the activities are actually going to make you 80% of your money. Right? It's like the 20% of the activities that are most important. But a lot of people spend so much time doing the 80% little things. They avoid doing the stuff that's really going to impact the growth of their business. And they're busy doing the other stuff that's not really going to put a dent in it.
Right.
It's avoidance. And it all leads back to the stuff that's going on in your head, those limiting beliefs that are imprinted into your subconscious mind.
Right. So if someone, say they were stuck and they were recognizing it, like what is something that they could do in their home business?
Well, you got to determine what's holding you back. Is it something between the ears? So you need to deal with the limiting beliefs, the BS you keep telling yourself that is stopping you from taking the action. You got to get clear on that and clear that out. You might have some healing to do, all that kind of stuff. But then also, you've got to figure out what to do every single day. Like you've got to have that blueprint. Those are the 2 things right there.
Yeah.
The blueprint, what to do, but then getting your mind to a place where you're going to do the things you need to do. It's like when I'm working with a client and I'm like, so how many people did you talk to over the last week? And they're like, well, 2. Okay. Is it any surprise you're not making money in your business? No. So why did you only talk to 2 people? And everyone's always got all these big reasons, oh, I was busy and my kid was sick and blah, blah, blah. They're avoiding doing the thing that's going to actually grow their business faster and make money. So you got to know why you're avoiding things. We all do it.
Yeah.
I haven't hit the gym in months.
Weren't you doing that electric, what is it, like the electric pulses or impulses?
Yep. Electromuscle stimulation, electromuscle fitness stuff. Yeah, it was awesome. But it was a 4-hour ordeal. The session's only an hour, but it would take you 20 minutes to get into the suit. And it's an hour away, hour drive home. The whole ordeal, it was like a 4-hour chunk out of my day to do the 20-minute session. And it's pricey. It would cost me $75 a session.
Okay.
And now with gas being so much and all of that, and I wasn't doing it in a mask. I am not going to work out huff and puff and wear a friggin' mask while doing it. I'll go for a hike instead. So there are a few reasons I stopped doing it.
I get that. As someone who loves to hike, like I'd rather be outside in the sunshine. Like they've done studies where just being out in nature helps a lot of you psychologically and in your mindset.
There is actually not a chemical or it's something that is released by particular trees. It's called cypress something something something. I just remember it because the beginning was like cypress tree, right? This is how my brain works with association. So it's this thing that's released by trees, and you only need it's proven that even an hour out in the woods does so much for your mental state, even if you did an hour a week. No, I think it was even every 2 weeks. But this has been fully studied too. And it's something that's released by the trees.
Oh, wow. That's pretty cool.
And it's just being nature. It's grounding. You know, a lot of people will, you know, put their feet, bare feet in the soil and the whole bit. There's a lot to that. Or like touching trees, because we're all connected.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is connected. That's a whole other video. Once you understand that one, that's life-changing.
Right.
It's hard to dwell on problems and all that when you're looking at things in a deeper way, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. Huh. Well,
I know. Deep stuff. This is how my brain works like 24/7. Yeah.
I love watching the stuff that you study, so I wanted to dig in a little bit deeper into some of that.
Yeah, it's helpful for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
And it helps people get out of their own way. Like, I know you don't like to see people struggle.
Yeah.
I certainly don't like to see people struggle, and people don't have to struggle, whether it be in their life or their business, right? It's about changing your perspective and getting your mind in the game and then knowing what to do. This is why we're so passionate about, you know, the people we work with, our team, making sure this is the stuff they have access to, the information they have access to, right? So that everyone has an opportunity to be successful.
Definitely.
Yep.
And sometimes it's a matter of, like, sometimes one person can say something and it doesn't matter how many times they say it, but someone else says it and all of a sudden it clicks.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Because
so
they're
just
saying it in a, yeah,
mm-hmm.
totally agree. They're saying it in a different way that you're more able to understand, or you are in a different place,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like, you're different from the year ago when you first heard that. It had no impact with you, but you've grown since then. So now you hear that again and it makes sense. And the dots start connecting.
Mm-hmm. It's like a
Totally.
sense of awareness. Like, over time, if you let yourself, your awareness changes. I was actually listening just before we came on here to a podcast about how, like, right now is kind of a time period where people, their awareness is changing. And so you're seeing a shift in the way people are thinking.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to be willing to go in that direction.
That's just it. You've got like 30% of the people on the planet that are really becoming aware.
Mm-hmm.
And then you've got a whole bunch of people who choose not to become aware. It's like burying your head in the sand kind of thing. Like, not everybody wants to become more aware about everything, but also about themselves.
Yeah.
Do you ever meet somebody and they're like, they seem to know nothing about themselves?
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, well, how could you not? You know, like the woman who goes to the hospital because she's having stomach pains and she's giving birth and she didn't even know she was pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
Are you that out of touch with your own body? Like, how does that happen?
I don't even know. I see those on the news every once in a while.
Yeah.
So
How would you not know that? Are you that out of touch with yourself? But then some people have, like, they don't analyze their thoughts at all. So they don't question their own thoughts. And you can't change your beliefs if you never question your thoughts. And you can only change beliefs on your own. No one can do that for you. It's about you questioning things and you change your belief. No one can do that for you. But there has to be that willingness to listen to your own thoughts. And this is why meditation is so powerful too. It's not about shutting your mind down completely and having no thoughts, because that's impossible. Seriously. I remember having dinner with Joe Dispenza and I looked at him and I said, I suck at meditating. And he goes, we all do. We all do. That's okay. He says any meditation is a good meditation, right? So it's also, I used to be so hard on myself because I couldn't shut my brain down. So I'm like, I suck at meditating, when in fact it isn't about shutting your brain down. It's just about letting your thoughts kind of float around and being aware of those thoughts, because This is when your inner being is talking to you, those little thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
So
So
it's
like
about being,
when you meditate, is it better to choose a specific focus or just kind of see what pops up and kind of go with it?
they're almost two different meditations. So sometimes listening to like a guided meditation for me
Mm-hmm.
will shut my own thoughts down. So that's very much like a relaxation meditation that will help me sleep. But sometimes it's just about letting, like almost kind of listening to your own thoughts. Because suddenly you'll go, oh my God, that was such a good idea. I'm so doing that. Right? Like you become really creative. Like that's what happens to me in the shower.
Mm-hmm.
There's something about the hot water too. And like these things just kind of pop up for you. Right? This happens to me sometimes when I'm coaching or I'm doing a training. Sometimes stuff will just come out of my mouth. Like my clients think it's hilarious because I'll just start saying something. Oh, well, you could do the blah, 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 blah. And I'll tell them what they could do, an idea. And then I'm like, oh my God, that's so good. I'm doing that. And I'll write it down. It's something I hadn't thought of. It's almost like channeling.
Mm-hmm.
Stuff just kind of comes out because you're in that slightly trance-like state and stuff just kind of comes through you.
Mm-hmm. Huh.
And I think that happens when you're at a higher vibration, because if you're at the lower vibrations, you're not open to this stuff coming through you.
Right. You have to be ready for it.
Yeah. It's fascinating stuff.
It is. It is.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
I appreciate it, Erin.
My pleasure. My pleasure. This is fun. I love talking about this kind of stuff. It's just so helpful. I often think about if every human had these, little mindset hacks, better mastery over their own thoughts, because your thoughts create your emotions and your emotions create your behaviors. So if you can control your thoughts, you have mastery over your emotions and behaviors.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because your
Or always,
emotions are going to determine how you react to something.
yep.
And if you don't like the outcome, it's probably because of the way you reacted in the first
Mm-hmm.
place. So you have to step back and look at it.
And you get to choose how you react and the experience that you have. And we talk about, you create your own reality. There's a lot there when you create the experience.
Mm-hmm.
Like I remember when I had to have what do you call it? A hernia surgery on umbilical cord hernia from giving birth and the whole bit. I had never been put under before. I'd never had any kind of surgery, nothing except for like giving birth kind of stuff. And I'd never even broken a bone. I've never broken a bone. So anyway, I'm like a little panicky because I've never been put under and the whole bit and a little bit panicky. And then I decided to get control of my thoughts. And I went, wait a minute, you're all about having experiences, right? Right. This is going to be an experience.
Mm-hmm.
So I changed my perspective from being afraid to this is going to be an experience. So once I made that mental shift, I had a great time. I had a great time. The nurses were amazing. The anesthesiologist who put me out was like gorgeous, and we were joking around. And he puts the mask on my face and he's like, I hope you know what you want to dream about because you're going to sleep. And I'm like, oh, I don't know. And I'm out. And then I wake up in recovery. I wake up and there's this super cool guy with a broken leg laying beside me. He goes, it's about damn time you woke up. I've been waiting for you to wake up. So he and I chit-chatted for like 2 hours, somewhat still high from, whatever they gave us pain-wise or whatever. So we chatted. We had a great time for like 2 hours. And then they sent me into this other room and I sat in this easy chair and I chatted with all the nurses and I had a great time.
That's hilarious. Oh my
So
God.
it's changing your perspective, right?
Mm-hmm. Very cool.
Choose the experience you want to have. Business, life, all of it. Another thing I do, here's another little mindset hack I do for myself. I ask myself what the worst case scenario is.
Mm-hmm.
What's the worst case scenario? Can I live with that? Yeah. Okay. Let's do it. You know, I don't mean I'm going to do stupid things. But oftentimes, well, the subconscious mind, the job of the subconscious mind is to keep you safe,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's for your survival. So what the subconscious mind does is it makes things seem worse than they are, seem scarier than they are. So let's say you know you should be doing video for your business, for example, but you're scared to do it. I certainly was. Oh my God. So ask yourself what the worst case scenario is. You know, if I do this video and I forget what I'm talking about, what's the worst case scenario? Somebody going to come and kill me? No. Right? I seriously do that. And then I'm like, yeah, I can deal with that. So what? Somebody laughs at me? Big deal. Worst case scenario is never as bad as your subconscious mind is telling you. You know, unless it's, I don't know, jumping off a bridge without a cord, a bungee, you know, without the bungee cord or, you know, or a parachute, then that would be stupid. You know where I'm going with that.
Right. Goodness.
Yeah. These are just all little things you can do for yourself to get better outcomes in anything you want, any area of your life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's all within your power.
You just got to recognize it.
Yeah.
And sometimes I think that's the hardest part is recognizing, because like you get comfortable in, even if it is a bad situation, like you sometimes get wrapped up in and you don't realize that you're comfortable in the situation, and it takes something to trigger you to recognize that there's actually something happening. Like
Yeah,
comfort's dangerous.
it is. It is. People will just want to stay where it's safe. So one thing I really grasped from Joe Dispenza's stuff is embracing, he calls it stepping into the river of the unknown.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So I fell in love with that. So I get bored if I'm comfortable and stagnant. I need to stir the pot every once in a while. Like I just get bored. So I actually embrace the unknown. Like, oh my God, what's going to happen if I go do this?
Mm-hmm.
So I'll jump into things because the unknown actually excites me, as opposed to, oh, well, I don't know what's going to happen, so I'm not going to do that. I'm like, hey, what could happen here? I'm doing it. Again, it's perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, getting too comfortable stops you from growing. You're supposed to challenge yourself. You're going to learn so much more about yourself when you challenge yourself. You know, I challenged myself to build an online business, and it helped me realize that I don't have an IQ of 0. You know, I don't care what my IQ is. I do not care.
Mm-hmm.
But I've learned I don't have an IQ of 0. I actually do have a brain. So cool.
You get to learn about yourself.
Yeah. That's one thing traveling does too, right? You learn about yourself. You're in a country where you don't speak the language and you're on your own. You learn a lot about yourself. And that's a really great way to learn about somebody before you marry them too.
Yeah.
Go on a 3-month or year-long trip to countries where you don't speak the language, where nothing's going to go smoothly or as planned. That's how you learn if you should marry this person or not.
Good idea.
Because you're both out of your comfort zones, and you see how cool and relaxed and laid back they really are.
Or if they're
Right?
going to go into panic mode and
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It gives you an indication how they will deal with situations that come up in life.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Very cool.
Yeah.
A lot to think on.
Mm-hmm. But it's super valuable stuff. And it starts with being aware of your own thoughts.
Yeah.
And then if it's one that's not working for you, you self-correct it. You correct that thought. You say not necessarily the complete opposite, but you can work your way up. Like I couldn't go from, thinking I was stupid to go, no, you're not, you're brilliant. Because my brain wouldn't actually even believe that.
Mm-hmm.
But if I could say, no, you're plenty smart enough,
Mm-hmm.
then that is a little more believable kind of thing.
Almost like moving up a stair step.
Yeah.
Like increments.
Yep. Exactly. Exactly what I'm trying to say. Yep. You got it. You're so awesome, Brooke. I love you.
I appreciate you so much.
We've known each other now for what? Like probably 6 years. At least 5.
Yeah, it's been a long time. It's been a long time.
And it's been such a pleasure working with you too. It's always nice when you can mix, building a business. When you can build a business with friends, what is better than that?
I feel like some of my closest friends aren't even in person. Like I've traveled so much. I've moved from area to area. Like my closest friends are online.
Yeah.
Like I know some of them better than the people that I know in real life.
Yep. I know. I totally agree. And the beautiful thing is too, is when you do travel, you've got people to visit with,
Mm-hmm.
Oh
There's some
yeah.
people that we know right now. I think they might have just left, but this weekend they were up in Atlanta.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I love that. You go to a foreign country and you're like, hey, I'm going to be in wherever anybody, who of my friends lives here.
Yeah.
I did that when I spent a month in the UK. I hooked up with like 25, 30 people that I met online. That's a beautiful thing about having an online business is the people you meet from all over the world.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're not just like stuck with the small town USA where you've got one single stoplight and everyone's related, because that's where I used to live. Like you're not stuck with that.
Yeah. Yeah. The world is your oyster. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
totally. So many more people to meet and talk to and work with. And oh yeah, it's a beautiful thing.
And it makes it easy too, because like I've always considered myself kind of introverted. Like I'm not that person who will jump in a big group, but like on social media where you can kind of get to know people in small doses, I think that's kind of what drew me to be able to do everything on here, because it's not having a entire lunch with 50 people that I don't know trying to do a presentation in front of all these people that I don't know.
Oh my, I
don't
couldn't.
miss those. I do
No.
not miss those.
I
Job
never
fairs.
did that in this industry. I couldn't have done it in this industry when I first started. There's
Yeah.
no way doing that kind of thing, but it's so much easier online. You're just connecting with your fellow awesome human beings
Mm-hmm.
and offering your help. Let's see if I have something that could be of help to you. Right? So you have the conversations, you find out what people need, and if you have a solution for them, you present a solution. It's simple as that.
Right? And you don't have to sit in front of a room of all these people.
And you're not driving for an hour to meet them in a cafe.
No.
And then driving home an hour. It's like you have a 5-minute conversation on in Messenger.
The first company before I ever came in here with where I am now, my first company, I blew a tire at an event. I needed stuff. I couldn't get anywhere. I basically had to cancel it, like, because I couldn't. There was no way. I had to go to the shop. So all because I blew a tire, like. And the funny thing is, I started the whole thing just so I could get tires on my car. And I was like, oh my Lord, how
That's
did this even happen?
interesting.
Right? The one thing I feared, right? I created that. The one thing I
Yep.
feared happening happened.
And maybe something like that you created to open your eyes on how to do it differently.
Yeah,
Start
exactly.
working online, Brooke. It was
Yeah.
your inner being saying, Brooke, for God's sakes, build this online.
And now that gas just keeps going up, like you got to find something where you don't have to drive around.
Yeah, totally. Oh, it's all dark in here.
Yeah, I've got a bunch
Oh,
of lights on in here.
well, I closed my blinds because it's bright and sunny out there, but I think the sun just moved away. So,
Are you in your tiny home?
yeah. Well, I went with a
Oh,
trailer instead. Because, okay, tiny home,
yeah.
it's so hard to get one right now. I called a couple companies and they're like, well, we're not even making them right now because they give you a quote
Uh-huh.
and it takes 9 months for them to make it. And they don't even want to give people quotes because the price of supplies is going up so rapidly that
Yeah.
they're not even building them. So it was going to be hard to get one. They're 3 times the price. They're much harder to move.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no storage. There's no storage in a tiny home. Like no storage. They're like, oh, well, you can put stuff under the stairs. There are drawers. There's no storage in a tiny home.
You need like a whole shed just for your closets.
Yeah, exactly. So I went with a kick-ass trailer where it's, I mean, it sleeps 10.
Oh, wow.
So I use 2 bunks for storage, but there's storage all over the place. It's got, full on, full size, kitchen, stove, fridge, the whole bit.
Mm-hmm.
And it's got a whole entire outdoor kitchen, fridge,
Oh.
got a propane stove, sink, grill, you name it, outdoor shower, inside stereo system, outside, 2 TVs. I haven't owned a TV in like 9 years and now I have 2. I've been in like over a week now and I haven't even thought of turning on a TV. I don't even know how to.
Oh gosh, that's
So,
fun.
but it's awesome because, maybe you can see now. Can you see outside?
Yeah, I can see on the side behind your head. I can see out that
Yeah.
one. The other
But they've
side is
got,
very bright.
there's, horses in the field there. There's 3 big greenhouses, another garden just right here. So this is what I wanted. I wanted to be on some awesome property with some awesome people. That's what I've got.
I love that.
Yeah, it's totally awesome. Yeah, I've made it my home. Oh, and then I decided I was going to splurge and buy a really good mattress because there was just like this pretty decent foamy, not good enough. So I bought one of these memory foam mattresses. They are heavy. So I
Yeah.
brought it home. It's all rolled up and in plastic. So I undid the plastic and the thing popped up open, but upside down. Way too heavy to move on my own. So anyway, somebody else living on the property here came over yesterday and managed to flip it for a guy stronger than me. He managed to flip it for me. And it's like, oh my God, this is the best bed ever. So I'm laying in my bed last night with my wound sticking out. I don't have it covered. So I love the unexpectedness and the, I don't know what's going to happen of life. So again, it boils back to, your perspective. I don't know what's going to happen today. And I like that.
Mm-hmm.
Where some people are like, I don't know what's going to happen today. You get to choose your perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Awesome, my dear. You're so sweet. I love you.
Well, thank you. I don't know what I would do without you.
Aww.
You've helped me, like the place that I am mentally now compared to when I first met you and health wise is like literally completely opposite.
Yeah, you've come a long way. You put in the work. You were willing to go through some stuff, deal with some stuff, become your best version. You put in the work, girlfriend. Yeah, you've come
Really,
a long way.
that decision. And I don't know why I guess it's because being comfortable, but that decision really, once you make it to change and see things, it can be a lot better. But it's just to get to that point.
Yeah, it takes courage, essentially, to make that decision, right?
Mm-hmm.
It takes courage. And you made that step. What happened?
I don't know if it was my power or your power.
Yeah, something's going on here. I don't know what it is. Power wise or something. I don't know. Yeah, my laptop went offline. Anyway, we're back.
Oh, I love technology.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah. All righty. Anything else? Just let me know if you want to go live again. Let me know. It's been fun hanging out with you.
Definitely. Thank you for your insights. I hope some other people find this helpful. Oh, I think I'm losing you, or I'm losing me.
Yeah, my Wi-Fi seems to be going in and out for some reason.
Okay. Well,
Anyway. All righty,
I'll
my dear.
talk to you
We'll
soon.
talk soon.
Bye,
All
Erin.
righty. Bye.